Canva and Kittl are the two heavyweights in the online graphic design space for print-on-demand sellers. In today's episode, we're going to give you a detailed rundown of the features and specs on each software, as well as our personal opinions on which software we think is the best for print-on-demand sellers. My name is Kerry Egler, here with my co-host Adrian Von Arx, and welcome to the Print-on-Demand Playbook Podcast. Adrian, what's going on, man? How are you?
Dude, I am doing good, man. I'm doing good. It's getting to the end of the summer here. Time to kick things into high gear with the fourth quarter right around the corner.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, excited.
In Arizona, does it stay 400 degrees till November or something? When does it cool down there? Here it's end of September, middle to end of September, it starts to cool down, and then October is really where fall kind of kicks in. But
yeah, October is where it starts cooling down nicely.
Okay.
But it's great. It's I mean, I just like sunshine, so no complaints there. Still hot, but sunny.
Yeah. Adrian, we mentioned this last episode, but I listened to some other podcasts that I listened to last week. This is totally random. I listened to this podcast last week. It's like a pickleball podcast, and they were like, episode 100 is coming up, and they were like, we're doing the biggest giveaways ever known to man for the 100th episode. And I was like, oh crap.
Oh man.
I was like, our 100th episode is coming up. What are we going to do? I don't know that we need to do a bunch of crazy, celebration, but we should do something for the 100th episode. This is episode 90. Yeah, so we got 10 episodes until episode 100. What are your thoughts on episode 100 of this podcast? That's almost 2 years, dude.
That's insane. First of all, I'm super pumped that we've been able to keep this going and be able to offer value for almost 2 years straight. And we have the most amazing listeners in the world. I haven't even thought about, to be honest, episode 100. I keep forgetting that it's even coming up just because, we're so focused on just okay, what topic should we talk about next that's going to be really engaging and value adding for our listeners. I haven't really thought about it, but
no guarantees we're going to do anything magical, but
hit us up.
Yeah, let us know. What do you guys think?
Know what people would like to see.
Something we should talk about, or just something special we should do. I don't know. Yeah. Just wanted to mention really quickly before we get into today's content. I spoke last week in Miami. I spoke at a conference called Deco Summit with Ricoma. Ricoma is a company that makes embroidery machines. That's kind of what they're known for. So pretty much anything you've ever had embroidered, it's probably with a Ricoma machine because they're kind of the heavyweights. So I spoke at that conference, really cool, met a lot of people, spoke about just building an e-commerce brand, which is cool because there are a lot of local kind of apparel business owners there. And so that was really cool. Okay, and lastly, we have a podcast review. This one comes to us from Colts Raven Loyal. I'm just going to say go Niners, and we're just going to leave it there. Okay, 49ers, let's go. But we love you, Colts Raven Loyal. And they said, hey guys, great podcast with topics that are really actionable and not fluffy. Let's go. Keep it up, guys, and looking forward to getting involved in more of your projects. By the way, love the story brand quotes in a recent episode. I live by that strategy. Yes. A little shout out for Adrian, the story brand quotes.
Love that. Well, yes, that's just an amazing book that I recommend to everyone. Donald Miller, Building a Story Brand. So good. Such a good book for entrepreneurs.
Super huge thank you to Colts Raven Loyal. We appreciate you. And we want to ask you, if you're a listener, if you're a regular listener, you enjoy the podcast, please leave us a review on Apple, Spotify, drop it in the YouTube comments if you're watching on YouTube, shoot us an Instagram DM, any of those ways. We just appreciate you kind of letting us know what you think about the podcast. And this seems like a comment we get a lot is the topics are really actionable and there's not a lot of fluff. So I really appreciate that. That's what we strive for. So that's a great thing to say. We really appreciate that. Yeah. Jumping into a quick breakdown of today's episode. We're going to be talking about Canva versus Kittl. This is something I feel like we've been hinting around. We've been talking a lot about these two companies, different things happening. Canva recently buying Leonardo AI. I mean, there's been a lot of stuff going on. But today we're going to do a pretty detailed comparison, because I think in addition to as a print on demand seller, a new print on demand seller, I think in addition to picking a print on demand partner, picking an e-commerce platform, I think this is one of the big decisions that people are making is should I use Canva or Kittl? What's going to give me the better designs? That's the main thing you're going to use it for is your print on demand designs. What's going to be the better tool for me to use? And so we're going to break that down today. We're going to cover what is Canva and Kittl. We're going to cover the pricing, promotions you can get, and the primary features of each. And then I'm really excited about the back half of the podcast episode today, because we're just going to have kind of an open discussion on our thoughts on different aspects of each of the softwares. And then lastly, we're going to ask the question, if we had to pick only one, which would we pick? Oh. I'm hoping that we pick different ones.
Yeah.
we may not.
So tough.
I don't know, but they're both really good. Let's say that at the beginning. They're both really good.
Yeah.
Are you ready to jump in?
Yeah, man. Let's rock and roll.
Let's do it. I mean, my hope for this episode, again, is just that we have a really open conversation, because I think we both have a lot of thoughts on both of these softwares and lots of opinions. And so hopefully we can just kind of have a good discussion. So number one, what is Canva and Kittl? What do we even mean? It's a bunch of weird words, Canva, Kittl. If you don't even know what these are, just want to quickly cover that. Essentially what these two companies are, Canva and Kittl, it is online graphic design software made easy. That's the simplest way I can describe it. Another way I would describe it is, if everybody for the most part knows what Adobe Photoshop and Illustrator is, right? These graphic design softwares. Essentially what Canva and Kittl is, it's online version of Photoshop, but it's so easy that anyone can use it. Photoshop, some people go and go to college, take classes for it, where they're pretty hard to use. You can do a lot with Photoshop and these things, but basically why Canva and Kittl exist is to make the process of graphic design really, really easy. So easy that my son could do it, my 9-year-old son could do it, and an 85-year-old can do it. Just as simple as can be. Tech inclined, not tech inclined. And what's cool is I know people that are the techiest, people that know how to code and all that stuff, that still love these softwares, Canva and Kittl. There's people of all different types and skill levels that use these, but I think at its core, the purpose of these two softwares is to just make it really, really easy to do graphic design. And the last thing I want to bring up, and I definitely want to get just any thoughts you have on this, Adrian. The last thing I want to bring up is, I think one of the reasons that these softwares, and I would probably say Canva kind of was responsible for this, the reason they're so popular is because of the templates. So many people use Canva and Kittl specifically just because there's templates for everything. Mm-hmm. If you need to create a birthday party invite, if you need to create a postcard, if you need to create a chart for a presentation, if you need to create social media or t-shirt designs, I mean, you can find a template for pretty much anything you can think of, pamphlets and magazines and books, and I mean, anything. So I think that's one of the biggest reasons why these softwares got really popular. And one of the things that is most used is the just almost unlimited amount of templates. So any thoughts just on just kind of what these are? Anything else that you want to add to that?
Sure. Yeah. I started using Canva way before Kittl. I don't think Kittl was around when I started. It definitely wasn't around when I started using Canva. And I've always loved using Canva. I used to always create all my designs in Canva. I love using it for social media content, even for creating reels. I also love it for email marketing posters. So if you have a sale, a holiday sale or something, to be able to create your poster in Canva and then just add it as an image to your email. Love that. Yeah. Kittl is like the cool new kid on the block.
Hey, it's Kerry here, and I want to just take a quick minute to tell you about my program called AI Profit Club. If you are a creative e commerce seller, which is really just someone in the creative space selling physical products like apparel, print on demand, and just custom printed merchandise, which I know most of our listeners are, and you want to learn how to use AI in your business to make more sales and save you a ton more time and just produce more in general, then you definitely need to check out AI Profit Club. Inside AI Profit Club, I teach you not only how to use different AI softwares, but I teach you the strategies to actually make more money, save time, and get more done with the help of AI. As you know, AI is everywhere, and I believe if you don't learn to use it in your business, you're going to get left behind, and you're going to regret it, later on as AI grows. So you can actually go over to my website and grab a 14-day trial of AI Profit Club for just $1 when you go over to kerryegler.com/AI. It's KERRYEGLER.com/AI. We'll leave a link down in the show notes. If you go to that link, you can pay $1 and try out the full program for 14 days. You get access to the full, all the content, our community, get access to some really cool bonuses like CarryBot AI. You can see more about that on the page. But I want to invite you to go over to my website, grab that 14-day free trial, and I'll see you inside AI Profit Club. All right, back to the show.
So I create a lot of tutorials on like Instagram and TikTok and my YouTube channel and stuff. And pretty much all the design tutorials right now are created on Kittl because their templates are so good. That is like by far my favorite feature of Kittl is their design templates. And they're just so that they look professional, but you can literally just change out the words and all of a sudden you have this beautiful design. One of our students, he reached out to me and he was like, dude, I'm using Kittl and I love it because I'm not techie, but I feel like a graphic designer. And he started using some of the templates and he started making sales right away from some of the templates. And he's like, I can't believe I didn't start using Kittl sooner. And that's how I feel a lot of people feel when they try Kittl. If they're using the templates, that's my personal favorite thing to use about it. They're visually beautiful and 90 to 95% of work can be done for you. You can always alter them more, but you can just change the words, you can add a couple elements, change a couple things, and you're good to go.
Yeah, good stuff. We're gonna definitely get deeper into all those different features and different things. One thing I did want to point out, though, that you just brought up, which is a great point, is that, and I just looked it up very quickly. Canva started in 2013, and Kittl actually didn't come around until 2020. Yeah. So I mean, Canva's got 7 years on Kittl, and one of the things today, as I was this is kind of the first time I've kind of dove into really comparing the two. And as I was preparing for this episode, really looking at the two, I definitely noticed how, Kittl 100% kind of models a lot of the things that Canva is doing just from their main screen. Like when you log into Kittl, you've got a very similar layout with, what do you want to create today, right? One set, Canva says, what will you design today? And Kittl says, what do you want to create? And then they have a little search bar. And like it's definitely inspired by Canva, I would think. And I'm sure a lot of things are when it comes to Kittl. So they are somewhat the new kid, been around for four-ish years. So that's important to know. Okay. So moving into section number 2, I want to talk about pricing, briefly talk about promotions with each of the software, just like discounts you can get, different things like that. And then I really want to focus on the primary features of each, because as I dove into these again, I realized, they're not extremely different in features, but there are some differences that I want to point out with one kind of big one in there. And I'm going to do my best to keep this as organized as possible. But as you can imagine, on an audio podcast like this, we're going to be just listing out a lot of details. So, that can be a little bit confusing. So the first thing I want to say is, as I go through this, I really try to focus on print on demand features, like features that are going to be helpful and useful to print on demand sellers. Especially Canva. It's like, they just have an insane amount of different features that just like, because Canva is really aimed towards all different kinds of business owners. It just does a lot of different things. So, I kind of try to stick to the features that were most useful for our audience, but let's just dive into it. So first, let's start with pricing. Okay. So each of these softwares has a free plan. So there is a Canva free plan. There's a Kittl free plan. I think these are both great options to get your feet wet in the software and to really like just test out the software for free and kind of see some of the different features. But I think if you're a legit, you know, print on demand seller or apparel business owner, you're going to need an upgraded version of Kittl or Canva. The free versions, I just don't think are going to give you much that is going to be useful. For instance, on the Kittl free plan, you don't get commercial licensing. Like you can't really use the designs on your products. Sorry, I was looking at something. Like they have a watermark on them, so everything's going to be watermarked. With the Kittl free plan. Same thing with Canva. I believe with Canva on the free plan, like you can't really export things in the resolution that you need for like print on demand and that kind of thing. So you're going to need to upgrade in order to use these in a legit way for your business. Would you agree with that, Adrian?
Yeah. There are some workarounds, but I think both of these tools are incredible investments. That's what they are. Like they should be making you money. You should be getting a return on this. If you're using these to create emotion evoking and relatable designs that really resonate with your ideal customer, with your niche, these are going to be like peanuts compared to what you're making from those designs. So my recommendation would be only use the free plan if you're like not even sure about print on demand. If you're like, oh, I just heard about it today and I just want to like learn, I just want to kind of dabble in the software and play around and see if I like it, cool. But as soon as you start putting it on print on demand products, invest in the free plan. Like it is so worth it, in my opinion. And you can use it for so much more than just designs. You can use it to create your logo, lots of social media content.
Yeah. So you're going to need an upgraded plan. So that's where the pro plan comes into play. So both Kittl and Canva, the next tier up from free is going to be Kittl Pro or Canva Pro. These are both going to be pretty much the exact same pricing. These are going to cost you $15 per month if you go with a monthly plan, or if you pay annually, it's going to be $120 per year, and that's going to come out to $10 a month. But you're obviously going to pay $120 up front. So this is the next step up when it comes to going from a free plan to a paid plan. It's going to be the pro plan, $15 per month, or $120 per year, $10 per month. After that, this is where it gets, they go two different ways. Let's start with Kittl. So it's going to go to Kittl Expert Plan, which is going to be $30 per month. And the big difference between Kittl Pro, $15 per month, and Kittl Expert at $30 per month is that the Expert plan is going to take you to basically unlimited everything with Kittl, with the exception of their AI features, which are going to be limited to 80 AI credits per day. Now, we're going to talk about the pro feature, so I'll go through all that in just a moment. But this is the big difference between Kittl Expert and Kittl Pro, $15 and $30 per month, respectively, is that Kittl Expert is going to bring you to unlimited everything along with 80 AI credits per day. With Canva is going to go to their Canva Teams plan. Now, we're going to not spend a lot of time on this because I think for most of our audience, not going to be useful. But essentially what Canva Teams is it has a minimum of 3 people, all at $10 per month for a total of $30 per month for like maybe a company, right? A company would pay like $30 per month. And you could have, let's say 3 people at 30. If you went up to like 5, it's 50. It's $10 for each additional person that you add on. And the big thing that you get on Canva Teams is the ability for multiple people within your company to work on projects together. and just be able to collaborate on projects. Think Google Docs, Google Sheets, right? Where you have the ability to like have people collab. That's essentially what you get on Canva here with your graphic design. So you don't get any useful features for upgrading to Canva Teams. Besides that's the main feature, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for 99% of our audience out there, you're going to want to stick with Canva Pro at $15 per month or $120 per year, because that's going to give you all of the features with the exception of Teams. So, anything before I keep going? We're going to go through all the features. So,
I think that was a good summary. Like, if you're starting to sell Canva Pro and or Kittl Pro,
yeah,
I agree you don't need to move up. I would only move up if I absolutely needed to. And having done multiple seven figures, I've never had to move up either. So I think you can have a lot of success with just the Pro plans.
Yeah. And then so that's kind of like the general pricing, right? Their free plan, $15 per month or $30 per month. Those are going to be your 3 tiers. You don't need the Canva at $30 per month. You may need the Kittl Pro at $30 per month, but most people will not, especially in the beginning. We'll talk about that more in just a moment. Talking about promotions. So I want to mention this just very briefly about promotions. So here's what I did in preparation for this episode. I went out and searched like around on some of the bigger YouTube channels, and for some of the bigger like Canva content creators that people that create content around Canva, because generally they're going to have a affiliate link or a discount code. And I personally was not able to find any kind of discount or promotional codes for Canva. Adrian, do you know, have you seen anybody may have a promotion or just like any promotions that are offered?
Just the free trial of Canva Pro. I think you're a Canva affiliate. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm a Canva affiliate. They didn't give me a code. It's just the free trial that you promote. So no, I have not seen it. Maybe it exists, but as an affiliate, I haven't been given it. So
I mean, I went out and just searched way bigger content creators than me, because I thought, hey, maybe there's some big Canva content creators out there. Maybe they've got some kind of promotion. I was not able to find any kind of promotion for Canva other than the 30-day free trial. So you can try their Canva Pro plan for 30 days to give it a whirl, and use all those features, but there wasn't a discount I could find. As far as Kittl goes, Kittl is pretty generous with us. We've been able to get a discount code for our audience with Kittl, which is really cool. So I want to let you know that you can get 25% off on Kittl by using my link and my discount code. We'll put this in the show notes. But if you go to shirtschool.com/Kittl, so it's SHIRT, shirt school, SCHOOL.com/Kittl, KITTL. You can use that link, and then you can use the promo code. I wish they would have used my first name, but it's EGLERYT. So it's EGELERYT. Put in that code, and that's going to give you 25% off monthly, or annually on any of their plans. So that's pretty cool, right? So that takes it down. Let's see, I didn't do the math before this episode, but that takes it down from $15 per month to $11.25 a month. And then on annual, if you do the Pro plan, messed up, 120. On annual, it's going to take it down to $90 a year. That's really good, which is only going to make it $7.50 a month. That's crazy. I didn't realize it was that cheap. So anyways, we'll put that down in the description, but you can use our link and discount code there, get 25% off Kittl. Or if you go with Canva, you find, a special link, you can do 30-day free trial, but no discount. So there you go. Wanted to cover that. Next, I want to cover the primary features. So as I mentioned, each of these softwares has tons of features, especially when you look at Canva. There is a laundry list of probably hundreds of features, because there's so much stuff. Most of it you probably will never use, depending on what industry you're in. But I want to focus on some of the primary features of each of these that are related to print-on-demand sellers, apparel sellers, e-commerce sellers, and that kind of thing. So let's start with Kittl Pro. So So with Kittl Pro, you're going to get unlimited downloads. What that means is like when you finish a project, you use a template, you're ready to, export it. You're going to be able to do that unlimited. Here's where it gets a little bit different than Canva and then some of the higher Kittl plans. You're with the Pro plan, you're only going to get 100 projects. Okay, so meaning you can only start and have 100 projects in your account. Once you cross 100, my assumption is you're going to have to delete some of those projects, archive some of those projects.
Yeah, I can.
Could this be an issue? What's that?
I can second that. You do.
Yeah. So could this be an issue? It could. I would say when it comes to like t-shirt and apparel designs, typically, when you finish a design, you're going to download that design and that's kind of the end of it, right? Like you don't typically need to go back like a year later and edit that design. If you do need to edit it, it's probably going to be in the next 3 to 6 months or less, like maybe you need to make some edits to it, but most of the time you're going to export that and you're kind of done with it. If you needed to adjust some things, you could always do that later by like pulling it back in. But making like hard edits, like editing the text and stuff like that, generally you don't need to go back and do that. Generally, I'm not saying every time, but that's something to consider, right? 100 projects. If you're a power user and you're just like cranking out designs, 100 a month, something like maybe you're selling on marketplaces, print on demand marketplaces, and you're creating tons of designs every month, this might be something to consider. You can only have 100 projects on the Pro plan. Next, you get 10 gigabytes of custom graphics uploads. So you're going to be pulling in a lot of times graphics that you might buy on other websites, or you might create with AI. You might create them yourself. Maybe their elements are just different graphics. For custom uploads, you're only going to have 10 gigabytes of storage. That should be quite a bit, but that's something to consider. You're going with the Pro plan, you're going to get high resolution and vector exporting. So that's nice. You can export out, in any kind of format that you need. Then moving on to the AI portion. So with the Pro plan on Kittl, you're going to get 30 AI credits per day. Now, remember I mentioned earlier on the Kittl Expert plan, which doubles the price, goes up to 30 per month. You're going to get 80. So Pro plan, $15 a month, you're going to get 30 AI credits. Kittl Expert plan, you're $30 per month, you're going to get 80 AI credits. These are going to be used for things like their private AI image generation, logo generation. This is a feature I haven't tried yet that I want to talk about a little bit more. Editable AI text. That kind of blew my mind when I was reading about it a little bit. It's like I guess they have something in there where you can generate a text with AI and then edit the text. I was like, wait, what? My mind was kind of mush. I haven't seen that yet. They have background remover, upscale. They have AI quote generator, AI product backgrounds. Most of these categories of AI tools that Kittl offers, they're going to use one AI credit typically, anytime you use one of those tools. So you get 30 AI credits per day. I haven't hit that limit yet. I think that's pretty generous for a day. It's just going to reset every day. Mm-hmm. But again, if you are a power user, that's something to consider. If you're really going to be using these AI tools like crazy. With the Pro plan, you also get commercial use license with no watermarks. So, you can sell any of the templates you use, all those kind of things, any designs that you create. And then lastly, you get full access, unlimited access to Kittl's stock photos, textures, templates, mock-ups in low resolution. I want to mention that the mock-ups they mention on the Pro plan are low resolution. I think 99.9% of the time you won't need a high resolution mock-up, like because it's going to go on social media or on your website, like that will be sufficient. And then you also get their full font library. So big thing I just want to mention there is the Pro plan does include access to all of Kittl's templates for t-shirt designs, anything you can think of, right? Like just anything. It includes unlimited on all of that. So they're like the primary features. Ready for me to dive into Canva Pro? Adrian,
Yeah,
good?
that was a good summary. Let's
I
hear it
hope
for
so.
Canva.
Like my brain is mush. I know
I
anybody
know.
listening out there, they're probably like, my brain is mush too. What did you just say?
It's important to realize too that both of these programs are always releasing new features.
Yeah.
So in 6 months from now, they're probably gonna have a bunch of new features. Like I'm always hearing about Kittl releases. I'm always hearing about Canva releases.
Yeah. Especially the
Um,
AI features are kind of like in flux, in motion all the time.
yeah,
Um,
totally.
okay. So when it goes to Canva Pro, there is a pretty big differentiation between Canva Pro and Kittl Pro. So I want to make sure our listeners know that. The biggest thing I want you to know about Canva Pro is that pretty much, for the most part, with the exception of some AI stuff, everything is unlimited on Canva Pro. So you're going to get access to, and they have numbers here which are mind boggling, 127 million plus stock photos, graphics, fonts, videos, audio. If you didn't know, this probably won't be useful to most of our listeners, but Canva has started doing like video editing and like video type stuff, audio type stuff as well, which it's just too much for my mind to comprehend, but that is included in there. But 127 plus million stock photos, graphics, fonts. I mean, you can use all this unlimited with Canva Pro. Also, they have numbers here on their templates. They have 3.8 plus million templates. So when it comes to anything you want to create a template for, a business card, a calendar, I mean, anything, 3.8 plus million templates. Crazy. You get full export capability, so any size, quality that you need, all that is included. And then talking about their AI tools, so they have a whole suite of AI tools, things like AI writing tools. If you need to write content, you can do that in Canva with AI. They do have a text to video AI, which I've not tried. I know that my guess would be it's probably not great because even the best softwares right now are just not perfect yet. So I don't know that that's really going to be useful. But text to video, AI image generator, AI background remover. They have some editing functions along with like an eraser. Most of these AI features are limited to 500 uses per month. So this is something to note. If we do the math, 500 divided by 30, that's about 16 uses per day if you were to math it out per day. So if you look at it that way, Kittl is actually providing a little bit more use on the AI features per day. Kind of depends, right? Like with Canva, you get 500 per month. So if you didn't use it for a week and you went on vacation and you came back, you would basically bank those AI credits, to be able to use them, like whenever you want. Whereas Kittl is like use it or lose it. So if you don't use the 30 in a day, tomorrow you're still going to have 30, not 60. So that is something to consider. Is Kittl, if you're using it consistently, you probably get a little bit more AI use out of the AI tools. But with Canva, it comes out to 500 per month total, or 16 per day if you were to look at it like that. But it depends on how you're going to use it. And then just one last thing I wanted to mention on Canva is on their features is like, this is something I thought was interesting. They mention an AI mockup generator in their AI features. This is something I've been really talking about a lot in my AI Profit Club program, and also in Shirt School, is AI, like creating AI mockups from scratch. And Canva says that you can generate professional mockups instantly with AI. I went on a journey inside Canva to find this feature, and I was not able to find it. What I did find in Canva was I did find like they do have mockups available. They have t-shirt mockups and like realistic mockups where you can lay your design over these mockups of like, say you have a picture of a woman wearing a t-shirt, you can, just like you can in Place It and these other tools, you can lay the mockup over there. I could not personally find the AI generated mockups tool where it says you can generate professional mockups. So it's got to be in there somewhere, but they don't seem to be putting it front and center unless I just missed it. Do you have any idea where this is at, Adrian?
I have not even looked for it.
Okay. I have
So I
no
can't
idea where
speak to
that's
that
at.
at all.
And this is kind of like one of the things about, I don't want to call it a pitfall of Canva, because I don't know that it's a bad thing, but like there's so many things inside Canva. Sometimes it's just like, where do I find this? Like I've tried searching, different areas, because I was like, this is a really cool feature if you can generate your own mock-ups and then add the design on there. I just couldn't find it. Maybe it's in there somewhere. I tried looking in the AI tools inside of the editor there, like inside of the graphic design editor. I tried looking in the apps section. I tried just find. Apparently, it's not a feature they want to promote because it's not out there in the front. But that would be very useful for us, as print-on-demand sellers. So those are the general features of each, like the most important features. Here's the big differences. The big differences are Canva is going to give you unlimited access to most everything on the Pro plan, as opposed to Kittl is going to have some limits, like 100 projects total, 10 gigabytes of custom graphics uploads. That's the biggest difference. The other difference, just in like features, is I'm going to say Canva is going to have a lot more stock elements and templates, but we're going to get into in our next section whether the Canva templates or Kittl templates are better, because you can have a shiny number that says 3.8 million, but if they're not good, it's not, it doesn't mean anything. So totally. That's something to consider. But those are the big differences, right? I would say if you're using Canva if you want to use one of these softwares for a lot of things outside of print on demand and designing, Canva might be the better option because everything is unlimited, and you're going to have tools for a lot of different other kinds of things in your business. Mm-hmm. So that is something to consider. I want to get into some conversation around some different topics and really like talk about our personal thoughts on these. But before we move on to that, Adrian, do you have any thoughts on just the primary features or I'm sure there's stuff that I missed, just stuff you want to bring up?
I just want to mention one thing because I know we're going to be talking about more, so I don't want to get ahead of myself. But in terms of the projects, the 100 limitation, mm-hmm. Canva recently released a new feature for multiple artboards. So now you can have multiple artboards in a single project. So you could actually create multiple designs in one single project.
That's cool.
So you're not limited to like one. It doesn't necessarily mean you're limited to 100 designs.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Anything else?
Nope.
Good to go?
That's what I wanted to mention.
All right. Okay, so this is going to be the fun part. This is what I'm most excited about, is just to talk about kind of our thoughts on each. So we've given you all the details, which is long. So hopefully if you're still here, you're really going to enjoy these next two sections.
If you haven't fallen asleep, you're going to really enjoy this next section. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about section number 3. We're going to talk about our thoughts on some different aspects of each software. And really what I want to accomplish in this section is like coming from the brain of a print on demand seller, which we both, claim to be here. We're going to talk about some of the thoughts around each of these softwares from that point of view. The first thing I want to talk about, Adrian, I'm going to let you go first. What are your thoughts on the primary graphic design user interface of each software? So when you are actually designing stuff, you're in the thick of it and you're designing print-on-demand designs or other things, like how easy is it to use? And like, what are your thoughts on the experience of each?
Okay, this is really, this is tough because I use and love both, and I'm going to continue using and loving both for the foreseeable future. So what I will say is that in terms of usability, I would actually say Canva's a little bit easier to use from a designing standpoint. Like just the features in, let's say that you're just creating, you create a canvas 5,000 by 5,000, you create like a text-based design, they're both really easy, but I would give Canva a little bit of an edge for ease of use. Mm-hmm. Now that said, Kittl has some really cool features that Canva does not have, or that you have to do workarounds for. And two that immediately come to mind are the warp text. So there's a way to do it in Canva, but it's actually way more just frustrating of an experience. Whereas Kittl has really good pre-made templates with the wavy text where you can just change out the words and it just stays in place. It's actually really good. And I think that that's a feature that a lot of sellers wanted on Canva, have wanted for a long time, because it's been popular for the last couple of years. So that's one thing, one edge that I would give to Kittl. And then the other edge I would give to Kittl is gradients. If you want to put like a grunge texture, some sort of texture over your design, definitely Kittl is like, I prefer Kittl for that as well. I think that those are two features that a lot of sellers use because they're both pretty trendy on designs and really easy to do on Kittl and look really good. And Canva a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit just not as, don't look as good, not as easy. So it's so hard because like I can't actually say that one's better than the other, but I can talk about some of the things I like about Kittl and I like about Canva. And those are a couple of things. So Canva, a little bit of an edge on ease of use, but I also think it's because Kittl is very robust and it has a lot of functionality around design. I would say more functionality than Canva. So yeah.
Yeah, you brought up a lot of good things there. It's a bummer because I don't want to say it's a bummer. I would tend to agree with you for the most part that like using both. You know, I currently use both and kind of use them for some of the same things, but also some different things. And I tend to think that Canva is just like the user experience, the ease of use is just a little bit better. Like it just flows and works a little better than Kittl does. Um, you know, yeah, that's just like when you're kind of just working through here and working with some of these features and breezing through things, like I prefer the Canva experience just a little bit. That's not to say that Kittl is bad just as a software. Like they're both really good. I think it's just a little bit more pleasant on Canva, but with the exception of, which we're going to get into, is like there are features that here's what it seems like, and I think this is probably true just because what we said in the beginning was like Canva started in 2013, Kittl started in 2020. Is like Kittl was able to see some of the feedback that maybe some of the users of Canva gave of like, well, I wish I had this feature, or this is hard to use, or like I wish this was a little bit better. And Kittl kind of like added in most of those features and made them really easy. And so I like a lot of the features specifically on Kittl, but I like the software a little bit better on Canva, and like just the experience of going through and creating things, I think is a little bit more pleasant. So yeah, I mean I think the software is just a little bit better designed, for Canva potentially. Ready to move on?
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about next. What I'm letting you go first again. You're going to steal my thunder though, because we tend to agree on most of these things. Huh? What are your thoughts on the templates? Because as I mentioned in the beginning, I actually think this is one of the biggest reasons why somebody will use one of these softwares is because you don't even have to like create anything from scratch, right? You can use the templates and man, it just makes things a breeze. Not just talking about creating t-shirt designs and all that kind of stuff, but like anything, right? If you need to create anything, there's a template for it on both of these softwares. So what are your thoughts on the templates of each?
Hands down, Kittl wins on templates, in my opinion. I think Kittl this is one of my absolute favorite features of Kittl. I think are we going to I don't want to get ahead of myself, but one thing that like, if I had to compare them, I would say Kittl gets the edge on actually creating designs, like the aesthetic of the designs. Kittl gets the edge on that, but Canva gets the edge on having it being more feature rich overall. Yes. And I will say like probably 80 to 90% of the Canva features I never use. So I don't really care about those. I do love the brand kit. I will give them that. I love the brand kit in Canva. But yeah, in terms of design templates, you can find it. There are design templates in Canva too. I just think Kittl, like, they're more up on the trends, I feel like, and their designs look so good. Like, you just, anyone using Kittl, just go in there and look at their templates. They're amazing, and they're so great for putting on print-on-demand products. So I give the edge to Kittl.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Like again, speaking directly from a print-on-demand seller's standpoint,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm in here right now in Canva looking at the t-shirt templates, the t-shirt design templates. Like they don't even hold a candle to the ones in Kittl. Um,
Mm-hmm.
there's some good ones in here. I definitely think there's like some trendy ones in here, but I mean, some of these I've seen these on here for years. You know, they just they're just if you go look at them, they're not as great as the ones in Kittl. And then once you actually use one of the ones in Kittl, you will realize how easy you can maneuver it and manipulate it to be your own. And I think overall, the Kittl templates are just so much better. And I think the reason is, I think one of the big reasons is I think we've talked about this is like the Kittl templates are like created by legit artists that are submitting these to Kittl. We recently had Juna on the podcast from Detour Shirts, and he has many of his designs in the Kittl library here that you can use, and from Detour Shirts, and he's really good. Like we know he is legit. Like he just creates
Okay.
legit designs. And so you just got to go look at them for yourself because I would 100% agree with you. From a print on demand seller's perspective, the Kittl templates are far and away way better and way more on trend than the Canva templates.
Yep.
With the caveat that I think outside of like t-shirt designs, print on demand designs, I'd probably give the edge to Canva because not only do they have way more templates, but they have templates for anything and everything that you would ever need. So personally, I would say, you know, pretty much anything outside of print on demand. Now, Kittl has a lot of templates that are not print on demand, but there's just a lot of really good stuff in Canva. Looking at some of the main ones they have right here, like logos. I don't know about logos if that's better in Kittl or Canva, but resumes, YouTube thumbnails, presentations, banners. I mean, Facebook banners. Um, the list goes on and on, right? Social media stuff. I would probably give the edge to Canva there because that stuff is really, really good. So those would be my thoughts.
Yeah, I think that we're pretty much on the same page there.
Yeah,
I would say logos are about equal on
yeah.
Canva and Kittl. Probably a lot more logo templates on Canva. That would just be my guess because they've been around for so long and they just have so many templates overall for everything.
Let me say one more thing about the templates though, because one thing I don't have in here is the like the stock photos and stock elements and different things like that. So like maybe just touching on that a little bit of like the stock things that you can use in there. So when you actually start a project in both Canva and Kittl, over on the left, you can access the templates, you can access the stock elements such as like shapes and stock photos and different things like that. There's a couple things I would mention there. First of all, inside Kittl, if you start a project and then you go over to on the left to the little text icon, it brings up these text templates. And I wanted to mention this because I've been looking at these. There's not like a ton in there, but they're really, really good. And I really like these as like a starting point for like if you're going to do a text-based design, you can go over here and to one of these little text templates and basically like click on it, and then you can change everything about it. You can change the fonts, you can scale up, scale down, like switch things around, and it's just like a really good starting point for like a really solid text-based design. So I really like that element of Kittl. That's something that have you seen that on? I haven't really seen that on Canva, like just a text template to make really cool, well-designed text.
Yeah, I think they have that on Kittl as well. You mean like a pre-made text-based like design?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Like
they do.
just text without any elements in there.
Yeah. Yeah, they do have that on, Canva as well, and I would say it's actually pretty good. Like,
You think
they
it's
do a
good?
good job with the font pairings. So I do like it on both.
So if you go to text on Canva, there are a few. Okay, I see what you mean. There are a
Yeah,
few
the font
there.
combinations and yeah, you'll see them
Yeah,
there.
I guess those are. I get they're just a little bit more colorful on Canva. So the ones on Kittl are like more just black. They're kind of more of like a starting point. So I definitely see what you mean there. Those both look pretty good. The other thing I was going to mention though, in that same vein, was that the it was like the elements, like the when you go to like the shapes and elements. Personally, I like the Canva ones better. Like the actual like when you go to elements and then you see like you can get circles and arrows and shapes and those kind of things. I like the Canva ones better. Which ones do you like better?
I like both a lot. That's a hard one to answer.
Well,
Uh,
what I found was like I think what I struggle with a little bit is when I search for something in Kittl when I'm trying to find something,
sure.
I it's harder for me to find in the elements
Okay.
specifically. But when I search in Canva, like I usually get what I'm looking for. Like if I put in a football, like I'm like, oh, that's the one I want. It seems like when I search over in Kittl, I don't get as good of results.
Sure.
That's just kind
Yeah.
of my thought.
I can see what you mean. I mean, Canva just has been around for so long and has so many elements and yeah, I see what you mean.
But I mean, they both have a pretty good library. Like I'm looking at the Kiddo one, and it does have a lot of elements in here. Banners for text.
Yeah.
I mean, abstract shapes, grungy type stuff. I mean, there's quite a bit in here. So I think it's just probably a matter of really getting comfortable using it and to find what you need. Um,
I also like, just one thing to mention. I also like in Elements, if you can't find something that you like in Kittl, you can always use Kittl AI, and I've used it to create
Absolutely.
elements, and man, it can be really good.
Yeah.
It might not be good every time, but I've created some pretty cool stuff with Kittl AI, like elements. That's how I like to use it.
Yeah. And we'll touch on that in just a minute on the
Okay,
AI features, talking about that.
getting ahead.
That's okay.
Yeah.
The so that we talked a little bit about the user interface, the ease of use. We talked a little bit about the templates. The next question I have: what are your thoughts on like the specific effects of each software? This is a big one, right? Like shadows, outlines, manipulating. You talked a little bit about the text,
Yeah.
wavy text, and things like that. Those are really big, like user features that might be useful for print-on-demand sellers. What are your thoughts on the effects in each software?
Okay, so for design creation, I like Kittl's effects better.
100%. I totally agree.
Yeah, they have some that look really good on designs for physical products that Canva doesn't have. Canva has some cool effects for content, some really cool effects for creating newsletter images or creating social media content that I really like. But I'm going to give the edge from a design creation standpoint. I'm going to give the edge to Kittl.
Yeah, so I really love the text effects in Kittl. Um,
Mm-hmm.
there's two things that I really like is well, actually, I mean, all three of these are really good. So they have these three features when you create text, three features along the right side, and it's transformation, text shading, and text decoration. Man, like there's just so much you can do in here. If you go to transformation, that's a big one. So they've got Adrian touched on this, but they've got distort, circle, angle, arch, rise, wave. I mean, so it's basically these ways to manipulate the text, and
Yeah.
all these are like fully customizable. Once you click one, you can just drag the text around to really like edit it. Man, it's so easy and just like it's really good. Like I really love these text effects. They even have just like little things like where it says there's a little button that says direction inverted, which like
Mm-hmm.
just changes how the text, it like kind of inverts the text. And it's like a useful thing that I'm just appreciate them thinking of. If you go below transformation, there is text shading, and that allows you to do a few different little graphic text effects where kind of it'll add like like embossing or a shadow, or those kind of things, like very, very kind of minimal things. The one that I like most, or I like more than even that, is the text decoration, where it kind of just adds some it adds some flair to your text, with like it's hard to explain, but it basically just makes your text look a little bit different, like a little bit different styling of the text. And these are just like really useful tools that you can do a little bit of in Canva, but not to the level you can do it in Kittl. So I really like the effects. A couple of things that I would mention, which we're going to get into AI here in just a second, but some of the AI features I would classify as an effect, like being able to vectorize things and remove background and different things. Like, they're just really good in Kittl. I really, really like some of the things they have. So that brings me to our last little discussion point here. I want to talk about the AI features. So why don't I start this one? What are our AI features? Yes. What are our thoughts on the AI features of each? I'll talk a little bit about the AI features. So first, let's just quickly talk about like what each of them has to offer. There's quite a bit. When we look at Kittl, they have, it's hard because they have more AI features that are specifically for like e-commerce and like apparel, print on demand sellers. But Canva probably has more AI features overall. But I would just say the Kittl features are more useful for what we do specifically.
Yep.
Some of the AI features that they have in Kittl, a background generator. So if you have a, picture of something, a mock-up, maybe a picture of a person where you want to change the background, you can generate a background. AI image generator, which we talked about a little bit, but essentially what it, text to image, just like you would in like Midjourney, Ideogram, Dolly, any of these, it's built into Kittl here where you can create your own images. AI vector generator, really, really cool. Like, that's one of the coolest AI things that they have. It's really cool. Background removal, clip art generator. So if you needed just like a more basic image to use in a design, that's really good as well. They have an image vectorizer. So being able to turn an image into a vector, reducing the amount of colors, increasing how big and small you can make it. I mean, it's really cool. They have an AI quote generator, really useful just to have it like built in, where like if you just needed text quotes for a shirt, like it's all built in there. You can just have it generate quotes. AI logo generator, so you can just generate logos with AI. And they also have image upscaler, also really useful because this is something you typically need additional software for. After you create a design, like an AI design, you need to make it bigger so that it's big enough to use on print on demand, and they have that built in. Again, like almost every single one of those I mentioned are like really useful for print on demand. When we go to Canva, if I have it pulled up here, let me pull it up. They have a lot of AI tools. The problem is a lot of them are not quite as good as what you get in Canva for what we do specifically. So they have like, everything is classified as magic. That's like their term for AI is like magic. So they've got magic animate. I don't even know what that does, like animate stuff, I guess. Magic edit, which allows you to add to, replace, or edit your image with a prompt. So you can like type in magic eraser so you can erase things, which it's like, they call it magic eraser. And I'm like, it's kind of just eraser, right?
It's just an eraser.
It's an eraser.
It's cool. I use it. I like it, but it's literally just an eraser. It's like, yeah.
I do think what, so the reason they're calling it AI, I don't know if you've probably used this feature, but like if you, so say you had an image and it was a table and there's like drinks on the table, in theory, what they're saying you can do with the AI is you can like remove objects and it will basically like it will recreate the image there so that you can remove stuff. Like if me and you were standing in a photo and I was like, I don't want Adrian in the photo, I could erase you and it would like regenerate the background or something.
Ouch.
Problem is,
man,
the problem is it doesn't always work as well as it, as it sounds like it might.
But then you can use a magic eraser to do touch-ups.
There you go. There you go. Anyways, these are like very small features it has. I mean, it's got an AI image generator. It has the, text writer. It's got some video stuff. Again, most of these things are not as useful to us as print on demand sellers. And what we found for the most part is that most of the Canva AI features, with the exception of a few, they're just not that great yet. Like, we want them to be awesome, but they're not quite there yet. One of the things I will mention really briefly on the AI side on Canva is they do have apps that you can kind of use kind of like you would in like a Shopify or on your phone. Like, they have these apps where that will do different things for your design. And they do have some AI apps in there that might be useful to some people. Specifically, there's one for Dolly. Dolly is an image generator owned by OpenAI. It's built into ChatGPT, and they have their own software. You can actually use Dolly inside Canva, which would be a much better image generator than the built-in Canva one. So there is stuff like that. Dolly's still not. I don't think it's as good as even like the Kittl one or some other options, but there are a few other kind of workarounds, apps you can use in there to to use AI in a little bit better way. The only other thing I'd mention about Canva AI is we know, as we talked about recently on a news episode, they recently acquired Leonardo AI, which is a AI image generator, and we're hopeful that will bring some really good AI features to Canva, and hopefully use the language model that Leonardo uses and be able to create some cooler stuff. But I would just say, in my opinion, Kittl gets the nod here. Like, the AI stuff is really, really useful. It's my favorite is probably like the vectorizer and like the vector generator. I think those are just really, really useful in there, as well as the quote generator is really cool. The image generator is really cool. But those are probably my favorite. Adrian, what are your thoughts?
So I definitely agree that Kittl gets the edge with AI. I've just had more success with Kittl AI creating cool elements versus Canva, but I am super excited to see what happens with Leonardo. I just hope that they make it really easy to use, like equally as easy as the AI right now in Canva, which I expect they will. The other thing I'll say, I mentioned earlier the brand kit, how much I love it in Canva. I've been using it for a long time. You can also create brand kits in Kittl, just an FYI. So if you're like comparing between the two and you're like, oh, I want to go for Canva because of brand kit, you can create something very, very similar in Kittl. But going back to AI, I don't care about bells and whistles if they're not going to be used, right?
Yeah.
And I think that this is the way that a lot of our listeners probably feel. They're like, well, that's cool that Canva has like a million other features, but if I don't use any of them, that's no added value, right? But like, I love Canva for a number of reasons, especially for content creation. But Kittl, like from a purely design creation perspective, I like Kittl better. Even though Canva is more feature rich and I would say a little bit more intuitive and easy to use. So, I mean, in terms of AI, Kittl, I've just had a better experience with Kittl.
So I think we kind of both agreed on most of these. Like, if we had to like go one way or the other, we would say the ease of use in the software, we would give the nod to Canva. The templates for print on demand sellers, we would give the nod to Kittl. Like, the effects that are built in, graphic design effects, we would probably give the nod to Kittl. Barely. Well, there was some really good ones in there. And then AI, we would give the nod to Kittl. So 3 out of 4 of those categories, we would give the nod to Kittl. I think we kind of spilled the beans, at least on your opinion. I think you said it there. But the last question as we wrap up this episode, if you had to pick only one to use, and you are solely a print on demand seller, which one would you pick? I can go first if you want. It doesn't.
If someone was asking me for a recommendation, what I would tell them is it depends on what's important to you. If you're like, all I'm going to use this is for design creation, I would say Kittl. If you're like, I want to use so many features that Canva has that Kittl doesn't, then go with Canva, because you can create a lot of similar designs in Canva too. So I can't I don't have like a one answer. You know what I mean? It
Yeah, I
really
mean,
depends on each person's individual situation. But
yeah, I think
let's hear what you have to say. I'm curious to hear
no, I
your
mean,
thoughts.
very similar to what you're going to say, like what you said. We're on the same page on most of these things.
Yeah.
Um, Again, coming from our audience, you either have or you're thinking about starting up a print on demand business or an apparel business, or yeah, mainly those things, right? Apparel, uh, print on demand, or like any like custom printed merchandise kind of business. If you're in those categories of business that you're going to start or you currently own one, I would 100% tell you to go with Kittl. I think that's the best option. By the way, this like we're not sponsored by Kittl or Canva. Like we have an affiliate code with Kittl. I think we both have affiliate links as well with Canva, but like we're not being paid to make this episode. So these are our own opinions. Um, I would steer you towards Kittl if you are strictly a print on demand apparel or like custom printed merchandise seller. That being said, similar to what you said, we both make content. Like we make podcasts and YouTube videos and Instagram reels and all these things. And I find the features of Canva better for those things, for creating content, right? Like I've created YouTube thumbnails in both Kittl and Canva, and I find Canva much better for like creating a YouTube thumbnail. We've created like media kits and sponsorship kits and different things like that better in Canva, like I would say. So, but when it comes to designing t-shirts and print on demand products, 100%, I would say Kittl is like pretty far and away better because just a lot of the things they have from the AI features to the templates to the actual effects and features inside the graphic design software, they seem like they're made for print on demand and apparel sellers. Like I think Kittl is kind of catered towards our audience. Like I feels like that's who their software is really built for, to serve best. So we both use both and we pay for both, but there may be many people out there in our audience that you can only have one or you don't want to have both, which is completely understandable. And I think for our audience, I think Kittl's probably the better option. But if you have any other kind of business from general e-commerce to maybe you have a local business, maybe you have an accounting business. I don't know why you'd be listening to this podcast unless you're interested in getting into apparel and print on demand. I'd probably go Canva though. If you're in any other kind of business, I'd probably go with Canva. So I think that wraps it up, man. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, I think you summed it up well. Kittl, I agree, does feel like it's catered more towards print on demand. It's not as feature rich, but it's more like a lot of the new features are rolling out are great for print on demand. Whereas Canva, they'll come out with 100 new features and maybe like 5 will be like something that you actually want to use as a print on demand seller. So it's like they're trying to cater to a much bigger market, it seems like. Kittl is trying to cater to like designers and to print on demand sellers and stuff. Whereas Canva has all sorts of facets of like avatars that they're trying to appeal to and create features for. And so they have all these features for all these people, but really it comes down to what's important for you. Like, what are you actually going to use? Who cares if there's 1,000 features you're never going to use? Right. And that's where the kind of like we're in agreement, like Kittl's better from a design creation standpoint. Canva, if you want a lot of other bells and whistles, it could be better for you.
Yep. All right. Great episode. Thank you for your thoughts. Thank you for listening today, and we will see you in the next one.
Peace. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Print on Demand Playbook podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us an honest review on whichever platform you are listening from. We appreciate you. Thank you for being a listener, and we'll talk to you very soon.